To convert the machine from 1 3/4 to 1 3/8 door jambs, we need to change the tabs underneath here. The skinny tabs like this are for the 1 3/4 doors. If we loosen the set screw here, remove the thin tab, replace it with the thick tab. These tabs are for 1 3/8 doors. Push that in and tighten the set screw. There are 2 of those tabs on each router assembly. To adjust for the thickness of the jamb, the jamb ramps and the cylinder mounts are mounted on slotted holes and are adjustable vertically. We'll loosen the bolts and adjust them up and down so that the thickness of jamb that you want to run will slide easily in with ample clearance, but still at a height that's close to where it would be clamped up to. The turret stop on the side of the router controls the back set of the mortise into the jamb. There are 3 settings, comes from the factory. The shortest bolt here gives you 1.5 inches into the door. The next one up is 1 7/16. The longest bolt gives you 1 1/8 inches into the jamb. There's a turret on each of the routers, so they all need to be set at the same position. The end stop is used to position the jamb so that we get the correct distance from the dado to the top of the first hinge. So the bolt can be used for minor adjustments. We have 2 stops, so you can set one for interiors and one for exteriors, or one for splits and one for flats as necessary. The major adjustment, you loosen the lock nut, the whole assembly can move back and forth for a major adjustment. When changing the mortise width from 3.5 to 4 or 4.5, you also need to change the side-to-side stop bars. The stop bars contact the limit switches and let the router know when it has reached the end of travel. These bars exist only on the center router in the case of a 3-router machine. There's a limit switch on each side to tell the machine when the router has reached the end of travel. They are marked up here for position. This center mark is the 4-inch. There's the 3.5. There's another mark at the 1/4 inch increment up here for 4.5. We need to set both bars to the correct setting for the mortise we're going to do. To adjust the mortise width from 3.5 to 4-inch or 4.5, there is an adjustment bolt here which hits the turret stop on this side. The adjustment bolt can be used to make fine adjustments to get the size exactly to fit the mortise. To change from 3.5 to 4 or 4.5, we rotate the turret stop. When the bolt contacts the high point, that's 3.5. When it's the medium one, where it is now, that's 4, and the lowest setting is 4.5 inch. If you need to get to 5 inch, you will remove the turret completely so that the bolt comes in contact with the aluminum frame. So there is a stop turret on each side of each of the routers that operates that way. To turn the stop turret, you need to loosen the lock bolt on the outside of the frame. Then the turret can rotate and then lock the lock bolt down again. So to change the width of the mortise, there's 2 turrets on each router. So in the case of the 3-router machine we have here, that's 6 turrets. And then the 2 stop bolts on the center router. So that's 8 total places you need to change the adjustment. When positioning the routers for a specific hinge placement or hinge spacing, the center router on a 3-hinge machine should be roughly in the center of the machine. And then you can measure from the alignment pin on one router to the alignment pin on the other router to get your spacing. Hook the tape measure over the alignment pin, measure to the close side of the pin, and that should tell you the spacing from center to center, or top to top as the case may be, from one hinge to the next. So we'll position those two assemblies so that they are the correct distance apart. To move the routers side to side, there are two lock handles underneath each one, on the left and the right. Loosen the lock handle, and then the router assemblies will slide left and right. When you've got the position you want, you can lock them down again to keep them from moving. To change the depth of the hinge mortise, we'll unsnap the router, rotate the ring as necessary to raise or lower the router to get the correct depth, snap it closed to lock it in place.